the truck's all back together, everything's back together and running. I did notice that the fuel pressure's not staying like it should. So the system's leaking down fuel pressure. I've already checked everything in the back. I've taken the one-way valves off and verified that they're not leaking, and then there's no other leaks anywhere in the system. So I've hooked up a jumper, my jumper wire, to the control circuit of the fuel pump relay, and I just energize it so we can see the pressure leak down. So I'm suspecting that it's this regulator here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this regulator, this return line off the regulator. I'm going to drop that. Okay. Put a rag in here. Now I'm just going to bump the pump enough to get, just going to bump it here on the battery enough to get pressure. Now see, it's falling. I'm going to put my finger over it. It's slowing down, and I can feel it. I can feel it building pressure in my. I'm going to remove my finger and see if it sprays. Yeah. Okay. So my suspicions were right, and what's happening here is this is to the return of the return system. This is the pressure coming from the EFI system. So the valve in here is not closing completely, and it's allowing that pressure to go down the return. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen the adjuster here. I'll loosen that. Take all the pressure off the spring. Like that. I'm going to take these 4 screws out right here. Now when I put this thing together, I had to change the spring in here. This came with a spring for a carburetor setup and a spring for EFI setup. So it had the carburetor setup spring in it, and I had to take this off once to change the spring. So shouldn't be no big deal. If I remember right, should just be able to clean the seat and everything there where the part sits. See if I can do this. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna put you down for a second. Alright, let's see what falls apart here. Okay, there's the spring. Yep, that's from what I remember. That's all that was in there. It's just the spring, and then there's the diaphragm here. If I remember right, yeah, it's just a... Okay. And then... it's just a seat there. It's literally just like a ball. Sits on that seat. Huh. Not much really that can go wrong with it, is there? I don't even think there's a seal or nothing in there. I think it just seals against the aluminum. Okay. Well, I guess I put it back in. Okay. Okay, it just goes like that. I gotta put you down for a second. Okay. It's hard to do one-handed, so this screws back in. run the pump, and I'll set the regulator again, and I'll see what happens. That's weird. Nothing in there that really can go bad, but it was definitely, it's where the leak was at. Want to make it too tight, you don't want to tear the diaphragm. Alright, I just put a little bit of pressure here. Let's see what we get. Oh, I better put the line back on. Okay. Now let's see what we get. Needs more. I say 43.5, I believe is what the guy told me. Even though you can tell the computer what your base pressure is. Like, it asks, like, you'd think it would be able to compensate, but they swear I shouldn't. They swore I shouldn't change this from 43.5, so almost there. You want to set this. It says to set it with the vacuum line disconnected. Obviously, if you're running, you're going to have a different pressure. Put vacuum to it and you get a higher pressure, or a lower pressure, I mean. A little bit more. Touch more and see what that gives us. 40 almost. A little bit more. Two. All right. Yeah, it's still leaking down, but I wonder why they do that. It's got to be a thing with the regulators. It's definitely leaking out to the return. Let me lock this in. Alright, I'll lock that in. Do another test. Okay, I don't know why it's leaking down, but I don't think there's much I can do about it. The only thing I could think to do would be put a new regulator on. There's no leak in here, nothing like that, so all my fittings are dry here. Yeah. Okay. This is what it is, I guess. It's clean. There's nothing in it. I was thinking maybe there was a piece of debris in there, but it's not the case. First thing I did when I saw that pressure go down was, first thing I went to the back, pulled off the one-way valves, and checked them both. And neither one of them I could get them to leak at all. So I just wanted to verify that, so that's good. I'm gonna go and start this thing up and let it run for a minute. I'll show you around this truck. It's pretty sweet. Got the fast EFI here. And that was a cold start. cold start there even. It actually runs pretty good. It's running on the rear tank. This is my line to the rear. You pinch the line, you can feel it. You can feel the pulse in the regulator. You can tell it's going in this line, not this one. But it's actually working out pretty well. I want to double check this because we're running on the front. That's the switch is backwards. Anyways, we're running on the rear tank right now. Start it up. And with it running, we're still on this line, nothing on this line. So with it running, I'm gonna switch it. I wanna test it with it running. Switch that. Now we should be returning back to the front tank. I can feel it flowing in this hose. This hose is no longer, yeah, definitely working. Definitely working. Sweet. I'm gonna shut it down before I irritate my neighbors. Double check. Everything seems to be working fine. So I'm gonna call them and let them know it's done and tell them to come get it. It's ready to go. All right, thanks for watching.